we agree on something because as much as the B team looks badass in that photo behind us, okay, that is not who they portray on the television screen.
You would think they would want to put them in like the fake Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy gear.
Yeah, it's like they look so badass. Like you would expect that to be a team that would be able to win, but we know better because we know how they're portrayed on TV, and the fact that they've built this up as a comedy thing the entire time tells me that this isn't really a serious thing, so why should I expect a serious shot for the B team?
Bo Dallas looks like a lost member of Milli Vanilli, and Curtis Axel looks like he just smelled a fart.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the fart one at least.
And knowing what we know about what's probably coming at SummerSlam for the tag team championships, yeah, the Leaders of Worlds are taking this one.
3 for the Leaders of Worlds. It's kind of funny that even though they're trying to push them as this unstoppable newly refurbished tag team, they're kind of like bringing back something old when it comes to Curtis Axel, and that's pretending to be another gimmick. First, we had Axelmania, which I miss.
A little bit.
After watching these segments, I really do miss Axelmania. But yeah, and Bo Dallas he plays his brother really well.
At least that's somewhat amusing, just because of the family relation.
Indeed, but yeah, again with what Brian said, with what the plans are for SummerSlam, yeah, it looks like they're gonna have the Leaders of Worlds retain the tag titles on this one. All right, now we're moving on to back to a SmackDown match. We got the SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Carmella versus Asuka. Okay, Brian, what do you got?
If Asuka loses again, I'm done with Asuka. Like she's not the way they've booked her since WrestleMania. Holy shit, it's been so bad. And really, if they don't give her the title here, I don't see her having it for a long time. I still think they're trying to set up either Asuka versus Becky. They're setting up something for Becky Lynch to challenge at SummerSlam. That's why she's getting all these victories right now and all that. And as much as I would love to see an easy victory for her over Carmella at SummerSlam, I'd rather see... It's more of a fanboy thing. I'd rather see Becky Lynch versus Asuka for the title at SummerSlam. So I'm going to go with Asuka here basically for that. And if she loses twice to Carmella in a row, I don't know how in my eyes you come back from that.
Well, you also got to think of the fact that James Ellsworth is going to be lifted up in a shark cage for this one. Now that they hinted at some kind of spray, I guess it's a hairspray that James Ellsworth sprayed in Asuka's face that may come into play at Extreme Rules. But when it comes to the actual prediction, I'm also going to go with Asuka on this one because how they've been booking things. Well, one thing, Carmella's been kind of taking a back seat on this feud because now it's more focusing on Asuka versus James Ellsworth. But with how things are even going with that, it always ends up with Carmella always the one coming up on top of things. She's always the one standing tall.
With Carmella on top.
Big Cass wouldn't know anything about that right now, would he? But again, it's Carmella. She's the one standing tall with the belt held high. She's the one that's looking strong in this feud. And they're just... The momentum's got to go back to Asuka. As like you said, since WrestleMania, she's really lost some momentum. And I think I've made it perfectly clear on this show that Carmella is... not where she's in a position she doesn't deserve it. James Ellsworth is helping her getting a more focus for her character, but it's still the fact that I don't want her as SmackDown Women's Champion anymore. I feel like she doesn't deserve to be SmackDown Women's Champion anymore, and Asuka desperately needs this win.
I've been saying it for years. I love Asuka. I've loved her since way before she got finally hired by WWE at long last. That being said, I'm going to go with Carmella here because I hate all of you. Next match.
Is that real? Is that really where you're going to go with? Is there actually a legit reason other than your hatred towards us?
Well, that, and if you want to get technical about it, just the idea of James Ellsworth being in a shark cage and the fact that they completely introduced Chekhov's gun here in the form of the hairspray. And every single time we've done a shark cage match, there's always been some kind of shenanigans happening or something gimmick happening with the shark cage, with either, someone oiling up and slipping out or someone dropping something from the cage.
Who's oiled up?
Didn't
Enzo
did that? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was in a
Enzo
shirt.
oiled up and just dropped down to his skivvies, and it was just drop out, and then Jericho. Then Jericho dropped something from the cage, and it was something like that. And
I feel like the hairspray will be put into play, but I see Asuka using that, if anything, on James Ellsworth.
Either way,
taking him out of the equation so Carmella can actually try and do something big, but then gets put in the Asuka lock and taps out.
Either way, I'm way too convinced that there's going to be way too many shenanigans that can happen with the shark cage gimmick or something. I'm just personally not convinced yet that they're not going to wait until SummerSlam to make something big happen. So yeah, I'm going with Carmella for all those reasons and the fact that you all suck.
You stole the belt, and yet he's taking it out on me too.
No,
he remembers
except
all
you've
the
also
shit
been talking more trash than both of us put together. You had it coming.
I'm not just talking trash. I'm talking truth. That's what I'm talking.
You're talking opinions.
No, I'm talking facts.
Keep rubbing your briefcase in the corner.
I'm sorry. Who's the only one of us that's been Scholar of the Year? Who's the only one of us who's been who's been the
We've
Royal
only
Rumble
been
game?
tracking it for a year.
Who's the only one of us that's been a Royal Rumble game winner?
And who's the one who always has to make notice of that? Because it's desperately compensating for something.
I'm compensating that I am the best one here. That's what I'm compensating. And now from
the
moving
one
on,
the belt.
moving from one women's match. Right now, I don't need the belt to prove how awesome I am. I moved from one women's match to the next women's match, which is the only Extreme Rules match on the card for WWE Extreme Rules, and that is Alexa Bliss defending her title against Nia Jax. Fool, who do you got?
Bliss.
We know where this is going. It's going to be Bliss versus Rousey at SummerSlam. So Alexa Bliss. Anyone who says anything different is a moron. So don't do it. Don't do it, dude in the middle. Don't do it. He's got to do it.
Just think about it. Don't you want to see the fear in Alexa Bliss's eyes once Ronda Rousey shows up and gets her all nice and cornered? Don't you want to see that?
Oh, as much as I want to see it, I see WWE is not going to do anything like that. So I'm going to pick. No, I'm just kidding. I'm picking Alexa Bliss too. This one's clear as day as what's going to happen. They're building for Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey.
I was about to smack you.
You really thought I was going to choose Nia Jax?
I could see you just trying to be comic relief in the middle and it not working, and it's the one thing we both agree on to smack you in the head as you said Nia Jax. That's it.
I would be that kind of asshole that would do that. Moving on, we got the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens. Man, This was one of the hardest matches for me to decide. Because when you look at the entire feud between Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman, it has been nothing but a one-sided feud. Everything that's been going on, Braun Strowman has done something to make Kevin Owens' life a living hell. And now we have the steel cage match, which Kurt Angle says, now you have nowhere to run. This was a really hard match for me, because I'm just thinking, okay, it's a steel cage match. They just could pull a Big Show Stone Cold Steve Austin bit and just have Braun Strowman throw Kevin Owens out of the cage and he automatically wins. But because Braun Strowman is one of the most popular things going on in WWE right now, and as much as Kevin Owens, I actually think he desperately needs to win here with how much he's been getting absolutely annihilated by Braun Strowman. I'm going to go with Braun. Kevin Owens needs to win, but Braun Strowman is on a high rank of WWE right now, and I think he's in an undefeated streak right now, and I think he's going to keep that undefeated streak going. Fool?
Braun Strowman is going to eat Kevin Owens like a Wawa sandwich.
What's in it?
It's a turkey, ham, and Swiss.
And he kind
goes down smooth.
Vinaigrette?
No, mayonnaise and mustard 50-50 split.
Avocados?
No avocados.
Aww.
Just lettuce and onions.
I do like lettuce and onions. Olives?
No olives.
Aww.
Ron doesn't like olives.
How do you know that?
Because we hang out at Wawa's. What do you think?
I want to go.
That's how he knows he eats Wawa sandwiches. Get the net, Tarek.
I know Braun Strowman likes to eat raw meat, but Wawa sandwiches is new for me. I want to see the commercials
of the universe.
Now I want to see a commercial with Braun Strowman just walking in eating a Wawa sandwich.
Sometimes
he just walks it. He just grabs it from one guy's hand and just takes a bite out of it, like how he grabbed that one piece of cake.
Meh. And just stares at him in the eyes as the other guy quivers in fear. He just says, "No one will ever believe you." And he just walks off eating his Wawa sandwich. Logo: Eat Wawa.
Eat Wawa. You may get a scarf.
Yes.
Brian?
The only way Kevin Owens wins is, I agree with you, if he gets thrown through the cage. But I am going with Braun Strowman because he's just on too much of a roll right now. Vince McMahon has the biggest... you thought he had a hard-on Roman Reigns, but this dude... anything that Braun Strowman is in, Braun Strowman beasts and wins at this point. So I don't go into a match with Braun Strowman in it unless it's against Brock Lesnar. If Braun Strowman's in the match, I learned this at Money in the Bank. If Braun Strowman's in the match, Braun Strowman wins.
Unless Roman Reigns is in the match too. We learned that at Extreme Rules, Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. But he's not now, is he? So Braun Strowman wins.
I'm just saying that just because Braun Strowman's in a match doesn't mean he has to win every time. Unless that's only true when Roman Reigns is not in the match with him.
And Brock Lesnar.
Hey,
I brought up one. That's fine.
You think Bobby Lashley would be put in that category too? If those two ever fought?
No. Braun Strowman would eat him.
I'm not going there.
Braun Strowman would eat him like a different Wawa sandwich.
No,
I was going to say like a whoopie pie.
Let's face it, he's a brownie.
Yes.
And the what? No, I'm going to stick with the whoopie pie, and the white part of the whoopie pie is his teeth. Them pearly whites.
Yeah. Also not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I win. All right, moving on. We got the match I'm looking forward to the most, the 30-minute Iron Man match for the Intercontinental Championship. We got Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. Brian, who do you have?
I want Dolph Ziggler to win because I want Seth Rollins to move on to the Universal Championship race, and also
if that ever comes back.
Nah. But I want Dolph Ziggler to win because they started this thing